Hi friends, I haven't posted in some time. I've been working on my own projects, writing books. So why now? Because this one is important. Over the past few days, the entire world witnessed the political assassination of Charlie Kirk, a 31-year-old man. The most poignant detail for me was the fact that this happened in front of his wife and small children, and that when the gunshot rang out, his child got a fright and tried to run to her dad. It's important that we do this because evil believes that via murder it can silence a message, but God uses evil to achieve good, and we are going to absolutely damn well make sure that that happens, and that's why we are doing this. Folks, 10 conservative Christian responses to the Charlie Kirk murder. Number 1, do not be afraid. It is the single most repeated message from heaven to earth, from God to us, all through the Bible. It always begins with, do not be afraid. We are called upon not to feel fear in these situations, but to be bold and to stand. Number 2, the large-scale Christian conservative response to this has already been exactly what it should be, which is pray. I don't think it's any news or surprise to you that people around the world have been buying Bibles, rejoining churches, finding their faith. You see, when evil has a cause that it wants to perpetrate, it burns down stores, it kills people, it loots, it riots, and it calls itself a victim. Evil knows only how to kill, steal, and destroy. That's what it is. That's what it does. The conservative Christian response to this has been prayer vigils and a reawakening of faith. It has been people in tears over the loss of a person like this and under such circumstances. But it has also been a bolstering and a renewal of faith. You know, there was an awful scenario back in the days of Rome where a single priest was tortured to death in front of crowds. And if you think about that from the perspective of one man dying for what he believes in, this man was praying for those people as he was murdered. How awful for him and for the family. But it changed Rome. It was the end of those arenas, and it was the beginning of the rise of Christianity and the spread of Christianity around an empire. One good man's death can change everything for the better. Let's ensure that it does. So, no cities don't burn down. Step number 2 in our Christian conservative response is we pray. Prayer availeth much. It is not ceremonial. It's not just a nice thing to do. It's not something that we do therapeutically for ourselves. We do it because it tears down strongholds. And I invite you to pray like that. Pray like a warrior. Pray for the binding and tearing down of strongholds. Folks, all of our people are doing it at the moment. And the prayer of a righteous person availeth much. The whole world is doing this. Join in. Pray for the tearing down of evil strongholds. Join in those prayers. Buy a Bible, find a church, read it, join it, become a part of this. Pray. Step number 3. Do not vacillate. I've seen all too many posts on social media that hedge their bets and go essentially like this. Well, I may not have agreed with everything he said. And you know, there was something... Don't do that. Don't do that. If you're saying that you would only stand and fight after the death of a perfect man, then you will never stand and fight. Find me a perfect man. I'll spot you one. There was Jesus. There has never been another. Folks, don't throw people that we support under the bus. Don't try to compromise with the left. They don't respond to that. Don't worry what they think about you. Who cares? When people are animated by evil, you do not compromise with them, and you do not vacillate on your stance and say, Well, maybe you stand and you salute a good man and you thank God for his life. Okay? This is a man who went into the most difficult scenarios you can think of, the most radical situations around, universities that are teaching evil, godless Marxist doctrines and frothing up young people to the point of murder. And he walked in there and said, let's talk, let's debate, let's find the truth. Here's what I believe. You tell me what you believe, and let's see if we can come to an understanding. This man saved souls. Do not vacillate in your support for people like that. Number 4, call out those who celebrate murder. Yes to free speech, but no to evil people holding positions of influence. If you see a teacher, a person in healthcare, a person in politics who celebrated murder, bring them down. Bring them down. They should not hold a position of influence, right? Free speech is a fantastic thing. It was Charlie Kirk's entire thing. I wrote a column about it. I write regular columns. Last week's column was about free speech. Celebrating murder is a different thing entirely. It is an indication of evil. Let's put it in a different way. Imagine a person says, I am a pedophile and I hurt children. Is that a free speech issue? No, that is an admission of evil. This is a person who should not have influence, who should be arrested. Okay? So, when you see people celebrating murder, I want you to call it out as much as you possibly can. This is the time to do it. 5. In some capacity, in your life, in a way that you are able to do, find a young person that you can help. A person that you can mentor or coach or teach or just do something kind for. Because the hunger for ideology at that age is extreme, and it's being fed by Satan. It's being fed from the books and the writings of Karl Marx and Herbert Marcuse and Rousseau and some of the most evil philosophers ever to have lived. Folks, if you are a good conservative Christian, you don't have to be a perfect one. There is no perfect one. Find a young person and help them in some way. I, as a speaker and writer, can help aspiring young speakers and writers, and just be a good person who helps them. And then it's subtle mentions, like my family and I are going to church on Sunday. Wear a cross when you go to gym. Small things like that. Be that person. Help a young person. See if you can do it this week. It's a small charge. Give it a try. Number 6. Stand. You don't have to rush into every fray. You don't have to be an aggressive participant in every argument, and in fact, quite often the online ones are the worst and the least productive, but do stand. I'll give you a good example of how my wife does this. She'll find herself in a discussion with people who are animated by ugly ideas, things that come from the wrong side of the moral spectrum, and they'll discuss it in a very casual way, as if that's just the culture, that's the way things are. And these will be people that she respects, people that she likes, people she doesn't want to get into a vicious argument with. So she'll often just say, well, I'm a conservative Christian, so that's not how I see it. Boom, done. Now, quite often, there isn't even a need for a debate thereafter, because these people like her. She's a good person and they can see that. They're often surprised that someone will take a stand. Someone who has a good sense of humor, someone who clearly cares about people, someone who they know to be a good individual and a shining light, who just goes, that's not what I believe because I'm a conservative Christian. And it shuts down arguments to a great extent. Stand when you need to. It doesn't have to be ugly, it doesn't have to be aggressive, but it must be there. It also emboldens your fellow conservative Christians. And boy, is this the time for it. Number 8. Help to defuse the left's only real trick. There is a plethora of ugly rhetorical devices that they use. All are based on lies. All are based on fallacies. And if you know where to start picking, you find them very easily. But essentially, this is the big one. They yell bigot. They yell bigot. They yell, you are a Nazi. You are a fascist. You are a racist. You are a... And they throw out invectives. Folks, 10 years ago, that used to work. It has become comical to the point of stupidity. React that way. Okay? All you have to do is go, oh look, another leftist yelling bigot. and say that. Say, you just walk around calling everyone a Nazi. Millions of us. Normal families, people who all we want is to raise our family, to have good children, good prospects, good hopes for the future, and not to live in an evil, immoral society. And all you have in response is to walk around yelling bigot. That's the language that got Charlie Kirk killed. Okay? So call people out for it. When you see someone online doing a Trump is Hitler, conservatives are fascists, when you see that, you need to call it out and say, this level of ugly, irresponsible lie is what led to a young person being so confused that they assassinated a 31-year-old father in front of his children, and his crime was trying to spread the love of God. He was trying to save souls. Call people out for it. Not only is it a lie, it is dangerous. People are already doing this a great deal, and a great deal more than they ever used to. Join in. This is a tipping point issue. It is a weight of numbers issue. Don't ever leave it uncontested. Number 9, be able to articulate the difference. You know, perhaps what we should do is a video sometime where we go like the 50 differences between fascism and conservative Christianity. I mean, okay, that's a complicated one. I'll give you the quick version. Here are your 2 defenses. Step number 1, someone calls you a fascist or calls a good person a fascist. Ask them, what's a fascist? What is that? Define fascism. Okay? 99% of them can't. Then you be able to. It's as simple as this. It goes like this. Fascism. Everything inside the state. Nothing outside the state. In other words, fascism is collectivism. It's big, strong government determining every element of life. It is anti-free trade. It is anti-free press. It is anti-free thought. It is anti-everything that we stand for. Simplest definition of fascism. Everything in the state, nothing outside the state. Big, strong government controlling what you can do, controlling trade, controlling thought. That's the opposite of what we believe in. Be able to articulate that. What do we believe in? We believe that every human being is made in the image of God, and therefore sacrosanct and inviolable, an end in themselves. We believe in extreme individualism, because the individual is made in the image of God. All forms of collectivism, socialism, Nazism, which stands for National Socialism, communism, all of these ideologies, fascism, are collectivist. They de-emphasize the importance of the individual. If you want the largest scale government-imposed murder of populations measurable through human history, all you do is decentralize the importance of the individual. We believe in that. Our Bible says God made man in his own image. That's why individuals are important. Our belief system is the opposite of fascism. Finally, number 10. Folks, you know, I have a small child. I have a wife. I look at this and I go, this family that's lost a husband and a father because of the evil that the left has been spreading for decades. It ultimately doesn't matter because we win. We've read the book, we know how it ends. Even so, come Lord Jesus. You know, the thing that most galvanizes my Christianity is looking into the face of evil. Nothing makes my faith stronger than seeing how these people act and speak and what's in their hearts. Ultimately, we will all pass on, and that's okay. Okay, I only live for so long. My wife will, my beautiful son has an appointed time on this earth, and we come and we go. The most important thing is that when I get to heaven, he goes there too, and he brings his family. So we live like we know this, exactly as Charlie Kirk had it. God, family, country. May your family be blessed, Charlie. May your legacy live on and be amplified beyond your wildest dreams. God bless your family. God bless the work you did. Thank you for your service. I wish we were all as brave as what you were. Well done, good and faithful servant.